Now on the CTV News at 5, shock and grief in the aftermath of a fatal car crash that took the lives of 3 young hockey players. Plus,
it's a tragedy. It's the nightmare of every parent, every teammate, family, friends, and my heart goes out to obviously to the families of the victims and the team.
the condolences coming in across the country. And should the province have a say on judicial appointments? The Premier thinks so.
Telling your stories. CTV News Lethbridge with Jackie Scantlebury.
Hello, and thank you for being here. Heartbreak and disbelief continues to blanket southern Alberta tonight. 3 young hockey players were killed when the vehicle they were traveling in collided with a semi-truck hauling gravel Monday morning near Stavely. Tragically, it happened as the teens were on their way to practice. Carson Marsouk reports.
Heartbreak and grief from those gathering outside the Stavely Arena Tuesday. A table displaying the jerseys of the 3 Southern Alberta Mustangs hockey players killed in Monday's crash act as a memorial for the teens.
It broke my heart to find out that these hockey players, so young, with bright futures, lost their lives so young.
We don't just host these boys. They become a part of our homes. Another plate at the table, another pair of skates by the door, another son we worry about when the roads are bad and it's late.
18-year-olds JJ Wright and Cameron Casorso from Kamloops, along with 17-year-old Caden Fine from Alabama, were killed when the vehicle they were in collided with a semi-truck hauling gravel on Highway 2 just outside of Stavely.
Any collision, any fatality on our highways is tragic. But when we're talking about 3 young hockey players, we're dealing with Stavely, Alberta, very small town, close-knit neighborhoods. This would hit very, very hard. It's very tragic.
The families of the 3 are heartbroken. Finn saying Caden was never serious about anything. He was so funny. Wright's family says JJ was in Alberta chasing his dream, playing hockey, doing what he loved. The team says there are no words that can adequately express the depth of our grief. These young men were more than hockey players. They were teammates, sons, brothers, friends, and deeply loved members of our Mustangs family and the communities we call home. Stavely is home to about 500 people, and its mayor says the community stands with you in sorrow and support.
These kids become part of our family. Yes, they're part of the community, but they're also part of our families too.
This was the first season for the Mustangs in the United States Premier Hockey League. Players have been sent home for the time being.
Hockey runs deep in communities like ours. It's not just a sport. It's generations of early mornings, long drives, cold rinks, and proud parents in the stands. These young men were part of that story, and we will honor them.
The investigation into the crash is ongoing, but RCMP say the semi was traveling northbound on Highway 2 and the vehicle was heading east on Highway 527. The 40-year-old semi-driver from Stavely suffered minor injuries. RCMP believe it is not criminal in nature.
Such a huge, huge loss to the hockey community and to the Ag Society, to the town, to this community. It's just so big.
Carson Marsouk, CTV News, Stavely.
Now, since 2019, there have been 3 injury collisions at that intersection. 2 of them were fatal, including yesterday's. If you'd like to show your support, you're encouraged to leave hockey sticks out and an outdoor light on. A memorial hockey game is being planned for Sunday. Now, as the hockey community continues to reel with the loss, tributes for the victims are pouring in from across the country. Here's our Quinn Keenan.
I now ask you to please rise if you're able. Join us in observing a moment of silence in remembrance of these 3 young men.
Before last night's game between the Calgary Flames and Toronto Maple Leafs, a moment of silence was held to honor the 3 young hockey players who lost their lives. That was just one of many tributes in the hockey world. Locally, the Lethbridge Hurricanes posted about the tragedy online. In a post on X, the team said, "The Lethbridge Hurricanes extend our deepest condolences to the Southern Alberta Mustangs organization and to the families, friends, and teammates affected by the tragic loss of 3 players. Lethbridge Minor Hockey also offered condolences via Facebook, saying, "Hockey is more than a game. It is a family. In moments like this, we lean on one another for strength, compassion, and support. Our hearts stand with the Mustangs organization and everyone impacted by the devastating loss." The Humboldt Broncos also released a statement online. It's been nearly 8 years since the team had 16 players, coaches, and support staff killed in a bus crash. The post reads, "There are no words, only heavy hearts. The Humboldt Broncos extend our deepest condolences to the Southern Alberta Mustangs organization and to all those impacted by today's tragedy. We stand with you. We mourn with you. We are with you." Even outside of hockey, messages of support and sympathy are pouring in. Cameron Casorso and JJ Wright both grew up in Kamloops, which has left many in the city reeling.
I'm sure that I felt the same way so many other people did. And first of all, just so much condolences to their families and also to the other young man, Caden Finn.
The tragic news has made its way to the highest levels of government. Prime Minister Mark Carney offered his condolences and a moment of silence was held in Parliament.
It's a tragedy. It's the nightmare of every parent, every teammate, family, friends, and my heart goes out to obviously to the families of the victims and the team.
Premier Danielle Smith took to X to pay respect to the 3 young men. In a post, the Premier said, "My deepest condolences are with their families, teammates, coaches, billet families, and the entire community of Stavely and surrounding area as they grieve this unimaginable loss. The whole Alberta hockey family is standing with you in sorrow and in prayer." Quinn Keenan, CTV News, Lethbridge.
A GoFundMe in support of the 3 and to support their families with travel, funeral costs, and day-to-day expenses has been launched. As of this afternoon, more than $27,000 has already been raised. Okay, switching gears now, Danielle Savoni joins us. And Danielle, we are headed to the teens for daytime highs.
Yep, temperatures are about to soar, and that's thanks to a ridge of high pressure that is just starting to build in. I'm going to show you that in the clouds in just a second. But today, a calmer day with regards to the wind. 52 was the max in Pincher Creek, and Lethbridge and Medicine Hat got into that 30 range for today. Winds will pick up a little bit tomorrow, especially in the Pincher Creek area where we're looking at gusts closer to 80, likely even starting tonight there. All right, temperatures right now. 8 in Pincher Creek, 11 in Lethbridge and Milk River, 9 in Medicine Hat. That's very toasty for this time of year and well above normal. But how about the teens for tomorrow? Yeah, we'll talk more about that coming up.
Thanks, Danielle. The Blood Tribe is declaring a state of emergency following a dog bite incident on Monday. The nation is taking steps to prevent similar incidents in the future. The Blood Tribe is still investigating the incident to determine if full emergency powers will be exercised. For now, the nation will enforce its dog control bylaw to remove unsupervised dog or dogs that have attacked a person unprovoked. Blood Tribe members are asked to be cautious and report any aggressive dogs. The state of emergency will remain in place until Chief and Council feels the issue has been addressed. Premier Danielle Smith says her government will withhold funding for new judicial appointments in Alberta if the federal government doesn't give the province a say on who is picked. In a letter to Prime Minister Mark Carney more than a week ago, Smith says the appointment process for judges needs reform. She says she wants the province to be consulted on future appointments to Alberta's Court of King's Bench, the Alberta Court of Appeal, and Supreme Court of Canada. Smith proposes a new committee that includes Alberta appointees to help assess and recommend candidates to justice ministers. Lethbridge County is updating its residential land use strategy, and it wants to hear from residents. The county has launched an online survey to gather feedback to help share how and where residential growth happens in the coming years. More than 10,000 residents call Lethbridge County home. The county is looking at areas to prioritize future planning, current restrictions residents would also like to see changed, and what kind of development should the municipality support. The survey is open until March the 31st. Well, February is Black History Month. Lethbridge Polytechnic will be celebrating all month long, starting with an opening ceremony today. This will be the 10th year the Polytechnic will officially celebrate Black History Month. It's also the 30th anniversary of the month being recognized in Canada. Cultural events, movie screenings, free food, and a fashion show highlight the events happening this month. Black students are looking forward to celebrating and to teaching others about their culture.
For the Polytechnic to have an event like this to recognize Black voices, it means a lot to me. It shows that they care about Black students being here. You know, we're not just seen, but we're also heard. So it means a lot to me to be a part of this.
A full list of events is posted on the Polytechnic's website. It's already time for our first break, and that means Danielle has your 5-day forecast when we come back. Plus, we have the startling statistics from the Heart and Stroke Foundation's Heart Month report.
Well, here's your Skywatch weather camera from about an hour ago, facing northwest. Interesting clouds in the sky, and you're going to continue to see interesting clouds in the sky because there's a lot happening out there right now. At this point, we have more of a Chinook setup with those stronger winds out of the west. It will increase in strength for tonight and tomorrow. That will bump up the temperatures, and then this is the ridge of high pressure is just starting to establish itself, and that will create long-term warmth for us. Oh, so we have so much to talk about and warm weather to talk about. 52 kilometers per hour is the max in Pincher Creek today with regards to wind gusts in those 30s for Lethbridge and Medicine Hat. That's going to be enhanced tonight, 70 to 80 kilometers per hour tonight, which is why temperatures will start to rise overnight while we're sleeping, and then it will be gusty tomorrow as well. So the wind's relatively tame right now, but temperatures still warm enough because of this, because this is wind out of the west. 8 degrees in Pincher Creek, 11 in Lethbridge, 12 in Milk River, 9 in Medicine Hat, 8 in Brooks. It's certainly toasty out there, and we're going to get even warmer. These temperatures are going to soar starting tomorrow. All right, you can see in the cloud cover here, these lines. This is the edge of that ridge of high pressure that is just starting to make its way. It's going to build over us, and we're going to really notice that in our conditions because a ridge of high pressure promotes stability and sinking air, sunshine, and under this, we get this push of warm air from the south. So stability, sunshine, warm air from the south, and we're in this pattern for quite a long time. The jet stream will push and already is pushing all the way up into the territories. And we'll remain under this ridge of high pressure and on the south side of the jet stream for the rest of this week. And that's why underneath it, temperatures are going to be building and building. Okay, so when we look at the future cast, because of this ridge of high pressure, we will have stable weather. That ridge of high pressure will direct the cloud cover and any of this moisture up and around us. We definitely need the moisture. It's not in our forecast. So up and around us, it may come as far south as Red Deer, Innisfail. We may see some of this pushing towards the Banff area. This is overnight hours. Temperatures will really start to increase overnight because the winds will pick up. And then we're looking at a lot of sunshine for the rest of the week. As you can see, that cloud cover will remain north of us because of that ridge of high pressure that will really set itself up tomorrow. -1 overnight fog patches in the East Kootenay area continuing into tomorrow morning with a high of 9 tomorrow. And oh my, 15 as a high for Crowsnest Pass. Gusts though up to 80 kilometers per hour out of the west. Medicine Hat, you're looking at 16 as a high for tomorrow, gusting 50 kilometers per hour. Those temperatures will rise while we're sleeping, so you'll likely start the day off at the freezing mark, which is quite warm for this time of year. And check out this long range forecast, 17 degrees in Lethbridge tomorrow. Gusty, 70 kilometer per hour gusts. The gusts will calm down for Thursday and Friday. Temperatures will rise to 18 degrees, and this comes with a whole lot of sunshine by then.
A frightening statistics to share with you. Every 7 minutes, a Canadian dies from heart disease or stroke. And a new study suggests it's because we're not doing enough to stay healthy. CTV's Heather Wright on what that means and what you can do to turn things around.
What started as mild heartburn suddenly became much more serious for Elena Trainoff.
I woke up one night in the middle of the night with crushing chest pain. And even then I thought, you know, I'm too young for this to be a heart situation.
At just 40 years old, Trainoff had 100% blockage of one artery and partial blockage of 2 others. She was taken in for emergency surgery. Nearly 11 years later, Trainoff credits changes to her lifestyle for keeping her healthy.
I quit smoking, I lost weight, I changed my eating habits, I radically reduced the amount of stress that I was under.
According to a new report from the Heart and Stroke Foundation, 9 in every 10 Canadians have at least one risk factor for heart disease and stroke. Lifestyle risks include smoking, poor diet, stress, lack of sleep, and lack of physical activity. And while some risk factors like genetics, gender, age, and air pollution can't be changed, experts say 80% of premature heart disease can be prevented with lifestyle changes.
We're surrounded by unhealthy food options. We aren't as physically active as we once were. Most people work in sedentary jobs. So for those reasons, it can be more difficult, and we have to make conscious effort to live healthfully.
And while some risk factors, like smoking, are declining, others are on the rise. For example, 1 in 4 grade 12 students say they vape, while the number of Canadian adults living with high blood pressure has increased every year since 2000.
While the death rate from heart disease and stroke has decreased by about 80% over the last 70 years, these diseases still cause 1 in every 5 deaths in Canada. Heather Wright, CTV News, Toronto.
Well, still ahead on the CTV News at 5. A major event for seeing impaired curlers is underway in Edmonton. We have sports next. Some of the best blind curlers in the country are competing in Edmonton this week. For the first time, the Canadian Vision Impaired Curling Championship is taking place in Western Canada. Teams from 7 provinces are fighting for the title. Everyone playing has a visual impairment. Each team has a guide and a coach who can fully see. Blind curling follows the same rules as regular curling. Players use different tools, though, to help them aim while throwing the rocks.
Rather than aim at a broom, they might aim at a light, or they might have an audio cue. Somebody might tap the ice for them to release the rock in a certain position. So whatever the curler requires, and it fluctuates, as does the vision level fluctuate between the curlers.
Organizers hope one day its athletes can compete at the Paralympics. Meanwhile, Olympic organizers are racing against the clock to finish a brand new ice hockey arena in Milan before the 2026 Winter Games kick off. A delayed start and slow progress in the construction has become one of the biggest headaches leading up to the Games, but the IOC says everything will be ready when competition begins on Friday as Italy faces off against France in women's hockey.
Every Games, it's a big race to the deadline. Just because the Games are a deadline, you can't move, so you have to deliver on deadline. So whenever you have such a project with such a firm deadline, it's going to be a race to the finish.
The arena will hold more than 15,000 fans and is one of 2 new venues being built in Milan for the Games. It will also be the first Olympics with NHL players since 2014. The opening ceremony for the Olympics is on Friday. An Edmonton area family is opening up their backyard hockey rink for a tournament to raise money for sick kids. Now, the cause is especially important to them because of a personal experience. CTV's Connor Hogg has more.
A hockey game at the local rink isn't a rare thing to see near Fort Saskatchewan in the winter. What is unusual is that this isn't a local rink. It's located in Josh and Brianna Mattern's backyard. Ankle Benders Arena has become quite popular in the neighborhood.
Bent my ankle out here one time. Oh. That was it. Stuck after that.
Attracting many different types of skaters, from the hockey playing kind to those who are taking their first steps on the ice.
You're doing it all by yourself. Look at you.
And even some on 4 legs.
At first I was like, let's just build a pond in the backyard, just without boards, just a pond. And then my lovely husband had the great idea to build boards, and I hemmed and hawed, and I'm like, I don't know if we need that.
The project got a little bigger, with the Matterns building it for their future kids. When Berkeley was born, she came with complications.
She was a breached baby and needed some support with her hips. She had hip dysplasia, so we were just grateful for the story, when we could use them, and we'd like to support them going forward.
Support in their own special way from a hockey tournament scheduled for next week. A 12-team tournament will put some pressure on homemade ice, but the Matterns have that covered.
We're surfing the Kijiji. It'd be a dangerous thing.
I said no about 40 times.
It took a bit of convincing, and then I think I can say I told you so now.
It is well worth it.
Even though players in the Galloway Classic tournament will take to the ice this weekend, its owners still consider the rink as a work in progress.
We're looking for a scoreboard next. That's our next purchase.
The pursuit of the perfect place to play a good old hockey game is never over. Near Fort Saskatchewan, Connor Hogg, CTV News.
Still ahead on the CTV News at 5, the story of Eggbert, the more than 50-year-old egg. For more than 5 decades, a man on Vancouver Island has kept the same egg in his fridge. We sent CTV's Adam Sawatsky to investigate.
When David Jevney was almost 6 years old, he woke up before his parents on Easter morning, took a raw egg out of the fridge, and drew a face on it.
Why not? Doesn't everybody draw a face on an egg at Easter and put it back in the fridge?
David doesn't remember why he did it or why his parents kept it, but he can't forget it being a constant while growing up.
And when you open the fridge door, you would always see it looking back at you.
More than a decade later, after David moved out, the egg stayed put.
A little bit of family history.
Does it have a name?
Eggbert. With 2 G's. There's no better name for an egg. It's the only name for an egg.
Eggbert remained in his parents' fridge, uncracked and uncooked, for 50 years, until they passed away and David packed it up to move in with him and his wife, Lise.
The reaction was probably, oh my goodness, okay, well, do we have to take it to the next house we're moving to?
But after moving with the egg 5 times since, Lise has grown to appreciate it every day.
It's like, oh, right, there's Eggbert. So good morning. Yeah, I haven't said good morning, but I'm probably saying it in my mind to him. Yeah.
And soon they'll be saying happy birthday to him. Because although Egbert's insides have started rattling,
he's still in there.
His outside remains unscathed.
Not one crack.
Egbert's kind of inspirational.
He is. He's strong.
And he's set to celebrate being 60 years old. How long is Eggbert going to stay in the fridge?
Forever. As long as I'm here. The older you get, the neater it is.
And the older we get, the more precious we realize life is. So when we can find something that connects us with our past and improves our present, why not preserve it into the future?
Yeah, it's not going anywhere.
Adam Sawatsky, CTV News, Esquimalt.
Thank you for sharing this time with us. Now here's the early edition of the CTV National News.